Hello.
Hi. Welcome to
guys.
Friday with Friends. Friday with Friends is our opportunity to talk about what's going on in this market, answer any questions that you may have.
Yes.
So when you have any real estate needs, or your coworkers, or your families, or your friends, hopefully you'll think of us and give us the opportunity to represent you.
Awesome. Happy Friday, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
What are we talking about today?
So, the lifelong question.
Lifelong.
I think that's the phrase. Anyways, if it's not, we are talking about renting versus buying.
Yes.
Which is a question we get a ton because some people say, well, gosh, I want the flexibility. I want this different lifestyle. But then everyone also sees the value in the equity building and things like that. So it is such an important question to ask yourself now or later in life whenever you're deciding to buy or rent. So we are going to break down the keys.
And it's also so important to recognize there's not a right or wrong answer.
Yeah.
It's so specific to you. And we on our team, we're not going to say you should buy. Like if it doesn't make sense for you, it doesn't make sense for you, and that's okay. But there's so many people who are nervous about it, who are feel forced into buying, but they don't want to, or feel forced into renting and they don't want to.
Yeah.
So we're just going to talk about some of the key questions and key factors that we think have the greatest impact to help our buyers or potential buyers decide if buying or selling is right.
Perfect. And what we'll see is a lot of these things aren't strictly number
Hi,
driven.
Jane. Hi, Ashley. Hi, Marissa. Hi,
guys.
Keith. Hi, Amanda. Hi, Kim. Hi, Kara.
Awesome. Yes. So not all of these are number driven, and we love our numbers.
We love our numbers.
Everyone knows that. We love our numbers, but a lot of these are like gut feeling, emotional questions.
Yeah, we go straight for the heart.
We do.
Straight for the heart.
So yeah, that's something where if you're thinking about this, if you're watching it, take a second, jot down these questions, and really, take a second to ask yourself them, because they're not all about the numbers. Sometimes it's about your lifestyle and what's important.
Yes.
Hi, Kim. Hi, Amanda.
Hey, guys. Good morning, Christina. So whoever's tuning in, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and feel free to add any quick notes, add any extra thoughts that you guys have, that if you've gone through this or experienced, and we'd love to hear what you got.
Perfect.
So if you are watching this live, hashtag live. If you're watching this later, hashtag replay. We always make sure we go back through so we don't miss any comments. We'd love to hear from you, answer any questions you guys might have that way too.
Perfect.
Let's get into it. Are we ready?
Yes, and thank you, Haley. She said my hair looks good.
I think she was probably talking about mine.
Probably. So let's get into.
I showered.
So really, what I wanted to
Inappropriate.
what we wanted to start with was why we're talking about this, because we're seeing that a lot of our clients are looking at the interest rates, which if you watch the news or have a phone, you know that all the news is about how low interest rates are right now. And so a lot of people are looking at their numbers and they're like, oh, what is the banker term? Like, money is so cheap right now that they have the opportunity to get into a mortgage at such a low interest rate that it financially makes more sense to buy versus renting.
And everyone was speculating, like, it can't go any lower.
Yes.
Interest rates can't go any lower. And then they did. So it's just this big shocking thing. And there's such a range of rates.
Yes.
I think people are saying like, under 3 or under 4, like 3.875 for a 30-year conventional. But like, there's such a range that we make sure it's just something to look into and to know that rates are awesome. And you just did a calculation. We just posted it about the buying power.
Yes.
And it was something like 1 point in interest rate makes it so you buy $25,000 less.
Yeah, so if you're at, I actually have it right here. If you're at, didn't mean to, just happened to be here, full transparency.
We go with the flow here in Fridays with Friends.
If you're at a 4.8 interest rate, that will buy you about, at the same monthly payment, about $200,000. But if you go down to 3.8, you can afford for the same monthly payment $225,000. So that can get you a lot of stuff.
$25,000 is a huge dramatic difference in terms of kitchen updates, in terms of a 4th bedroom, in terms of a master bath, like all of those things.
Granted.
So Kim asked, what are they about now? Yeah, they're hovering right around 4. Like I said, 3.875 is what people are seeing too today.
So yeah, pretty cool stuff. So that's why we're talking about it, because we have so many people looking at the numbers and saying, gosh, with the interest rate being low, with the market being the way it is, maybe I should buy and not keep renting. So we broke it down to a few questions that you should ask yourself. And number one is, do the numbers make sense?
So, and we have to do the numbers make sense kind of in two worlds. Do your numbers make sense? That's the first question we're going to ask. We have people who say, oh, well, I don't know, I have to put 20% down. I have these crazy mortgage payments that I'm going to have to make. Like, get the information to see, does that really make sense to you? There are so many mortgage loan options out there right now that are not 20%. There's a USDA loan that's 0% down. VA loans are 0% down. No, you have to qualify for that, obviously, but there's concessions. And in this market, concessions are not easy, but still, you can find ways to really understand what do I need to save. It's not some crazy amount.
So, you're going to make sure that, and we're going to make sure that we look at the closing costs, your credit, your amount of savings. So when we're looking at the black and white numbers, they make sense, but definitely know there are so many ways to kind of go around that. If you don't need to have a huge savings to be able to purchase, but you want to make sure that you still have cushion in your savings, that if something were to happen, you're not in a position that, with medical or whatever it might be, you still have that cushion.
We have people who say they're literally draining their savings to pay for this house, and it's like, no, do not
do that.
That's not the point of this. We don't want to set you up so that you are house poor, which means you literally have this great house, but you have no money in the bank. So we're our loan officers and us. It's not our job to tell you what to do, but we can advise you and we can help make you see that full picture to see if your numbers really make sense. And also with the credit, we had someone who got a house with a 580 credit score. So like that is a lower end credit score. Really, it's like 700s is like good, maybe 720. So just don't let these things automatically check you out of potentially buying. You just don't know. Now we want to make sure if your credit's that low, how are you with paying? And we again want to make sure it's smart, but there's so much around here that is going to help you identify if your numbers are right.
Yeah, so many different options, but you want to make sure that you're educated really just on those black and white numbers. And then there's,
what's the second part of the numbers?
Then there's, the numbers for you specifically, not the black and white of closing costs, monthly payment, credit score, but what is going to be best for you, specifically for you and your lifestyle.
So we talked a lot about this as we were talking about, it's like the market. So if I want to live in downtown Park Ave, the cost of me buying a place down there versus the cost of me renting a place down there, it's probably going to make more sense to rent. Because the cost of buying in Park Ave is crazy, but there's a lot of different apartments and it's fine. And hey, if you don't need a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, which is really tough to find in a rental down on Park Ave, why wouldn't you rent? So first we talked about numbers in terms of what cash you have, and then second we're talking about numbers in terms of what kind of house how much money do you really want to spend, and do you actually need to spend in order to satisfy you and your lifestyle?
Yep, and that lifestyle might change. You might want to be on Park Ave and you're perfect renting there, and then you want to get closer to schools or whatever it might be, and then it shifts. So these things are always changing, but I think that's a really good point. We might look at the numbers. You're so smart. We might look at the numbers and say, you buying down on Park Ave just doesn't make sense for what your goals are.
Yeah. And there's also so much when you think about numbers too that we're going to hit on lightly because we are not accountants or attorneys.
Correct.
But there are so many positive tax implications where you can write off your interest. You can write off so many things that will actually benefit you and save you money in your taxes too. So all of those things need to be checked out with the number one, and the first question to ask yourself is, do the numbers make sense?
Perfect. And then
what's the second one?
Number 2 is lifestyle. And this is huge because this isn't going to be you with a calculator, seeing it financially, it makes sense. This is going to be what works best for you. So the first thing is your job situation. For a lot of people, they might be thinking of moving, relocating for work. So really taking a second to think, okay, where am I job-wise? Is it stable? Do I think I might be moving, and taking that into consideration?
And we have clients who say, listen, my next promotion is probably going to be out of state. And then that's the conversation of, okay, does this make sense? Or no, I am really solid where I'm at and I know that I'm going to stay here for a long time. So if there is that lifestyle of job stability, that's really important. We even have strong residents who know that they're going to be here for 4 years. They will buy for those 4 years because it makes more sense, because their job, they're stuck here.
They're
for
4 years, yeah.
And
yeah.
some people say 3 to 5 is like the breaking point, that if you're here less than 3, it probably makes more sense to rent. But in terms of a job, if you know you're going to be here, for a lot of our clients, that 4-year mark, and there's obviously great tax incentives to be buying too for them. So we do a lot with Strong.
For sure.
So job.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times too, even if you say, okay, I'm in a position where I might move, I might not, it doesn't mean that you can't buy. You can still get all of the perks of buying, and then if it does happen, we can look at the numbers, see if we wanted to sell it or keep it as a rental opportunity.
Yes.
If you're gonna rent in Boston, if you get relocated there, just for an example too.
If you want to, and if you want to move back, you can rent it, saying, hey, I want to keep it.
For sure, yeah, we've had clients do that. They rent their house for a little bit because they know they have to be out of state for a few years, and then they move back.
I love it. Cool. Okay, so in terms of what's your lifestyle, first we talked about job. The second, we talked about relationships.
It's like sisters, right?
Sisters, exactly. What we mean more so is relationships in terms of if you are single and you're going to be in a relationship. Do you want to buy because you don't know what that relationship's going to look like? If you are getting settled and you just got married, are you saying, okay, now's the right time? Or on the other side, if you just went through a divorce and you're like, I'm not sure what my life's going to be looking like. Like, there's so many things to think about in terms of relationships and stability that helps decide if really or buying a home is the best, or if you do want to rent and kind of test out the waters of where you want to end up, what kind of house you want to buy, what your lifestyle's like.
Right. Because with changes in relationships and things like that, changes in your lifestyle change too. You might want to maybe travel more or stay settled more, and if you're traveling, maybe you want to put your money towards that versus buying a house. There's lots of different things to look at when it comes to relationships, for sure.
I love our retirees who are like, I'm done buying, I'm going to travel the world. I'm like, you go.
Yeah.
You go.
So sell the house, have the rental, low maintenance, all of that good stuff. Anything else?
So we talked about lifestyle with jobs, relationships, and then just this idea of stability or flexibility.
Yeah.
So we talked a lot about if you're in a family. So if I have a family and my kids are going to this school district and my kids are in this neighborhood, renting, you don't know. Like, it could be that the landlord wants to sell the house and you can't live there anymore. There's a lot of comfort that can come from stability, that if your lifestyle, like you're craving the stability, that's where buying a home will make so much more sense and give you that comfort in your life versus renting.
Yeah, that's a really good point, for sure. So lifestyle is, again, not the black and white numbers, but something you really want to think about to make sure that it's the right decision to either rent or buy.
So the first one is, do the numbers make sense? The second one, does it align with your lifestyle? Third one?
The third one is, do you want to be responsible for a house? There's a lot of things that go into it, but there's a lot of great things that go into it as well. But do you have, first of all, the funds if something were to happen? If one of the appliances breaks, if the furnace breaks, if you need a new roof, those are some pricey home repairs. So taking that into account and understanding, yes, I have the funds, I would be able to tackle this if it were to come up, and really just mentally preparing for that.
And then the other side of it is saying, listen, I know that I might have to do those things, but I hate, as I'm renting, that I don't have a kitchen that I want.
Or I can't paint this wall.
Can't paint this wall. Can't even hang things. Can't even put new carpet in. So it's, do you want the responsibility? Yeah. And sometimes people are like, no, something breaks, I call my landlord and it's done. Or they say, I've got to do it, but it means that I can make the home mine. So it's really, do you like the responsibility? Does it excite you that you can make the house your own, or is it more of a burden? And some people, they're stable. They love to stay where they are. They have, their numbers make sense, and they just are like, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to. I want someone else to take care of it. Now, you of course can hire housekeepers and hire those kind of things, but they really just like the mindset that comes with not being responsible for a house.
Are you like, I don't even want to mow the lawn?
We've got those people. And
we are those people.
We are those people. But that's also where condo living can come in, and that you have so many different things. And our job today is we want to get you starting to think about these things to see where you fall, and if more of the what's gonna fall, more of the, I don't know. If more answers are yes than no, or more answers lean towards purchasing a house, or more of them go towards renting, you're at least going to be able to be really clear on the questions you should ask yourself.
Right, because if you want some of that, low maintenance living, there's also, townhouse and condo purchases that offer that too. So whatever you're feeling, reach out to us. Let's talk about the possibilities, because if someone comes up and says, and we can tell that renting is best for them,
we're going to tell you.
We're going to be the first to tell you, this house doesn't make sense. This might, but we'd really recommend this, and, get you in touch with the right people.
Exactly. Okay, what's the last one?
You go. The last one is your goals.
I see it now. Took me a second.
I was like, isn't it right there?
What are your financial, career, and family goals? And I love this one because, it's so hard. But like, has it been your dream to own a house? Like, there are people that we love to work with where this has been one of the biggest pieces of their lives that they've always dreamed of, is having their own place. And it's this important milestone in their life too. But we've also had people who really don't care.
Yeah.
And it's okay. It is okay either way. But if you really just want to buy a house and this is going to really fill you up in that way and just a milestone you want to hit, that's an okay piece that we wanted to end with to just kind of pull it all together. So what else would you say about that?
Exactly. And so I think there's kind of, there's the people that it's a big purchase for them financially. They've reached their goals, and that's amazing. And then there's going to be the other people who say, I want to travel, I want to spend my money, time, and energy on something else. We see that with, travel, things that are, more expensive than versus spending their money on a house. So I think it's really just sitting down and understanding what's important to me. The numbers might make sense. Stability-wise, it might make sense, tax incentives, but if you really just sit back and think about it, it might not make sense for you.
Exactly.
So you really want to look at your goals and then decide what makes sense from there.
I love it. So, hi Casey. Sit on the other end and go say hi. Okay, so overall, we talked about the big key questions to ask. What would you say perks of owning a home would be?
All right, so we've got about 5 overarching bing bang booms for each one. So perks of owning: you're going to build equity and your credit. You're going to really make sure that you're getting that return on investment from buying. You're building your equity.
Equity basically means, what do you own of that house? So if your house is worth $100,000 and you only have an $80,000 mortgage, you have $20,000 in equity. That is a powerful tool to then use if you do need to take that money out of your home. So there is such a positive thing that is, within the numbers, but we wanted to make sure we still mentioned it.
Yes. So equity is huge. You have no landlord to answer to. You can do whatever you want. Again, perks of owning. More stability, especially with schools, as Mandy had talked about before. There are those possible tax benefits of writing off your interest, things like that. Yes. And then you can improve.
Talk to your accountant.
Yep. Remember, we're not accountants. You can improve and upgrade your house however you want. Change the floors, paint the walls, bright yellow, you do you.
Whatever you want. Just maybe paint them over before you sell.
Yes.
And then I'm going to chat about the perks of renting. Fewer upfront costs and paperwork. Buying a house is a lot of paperwork, and you have a lot of work that you have to do too, but then you also have that heavy down payment that does not come with renting. You have the freedom to be more mobile. Let's say you want to live downtown one year, you want to live over in the other town the next year. You can do that when you are renting, and there's beauty that comes from that. Not being responsible for maintenance repairs. Hey, the heat's not working. Not your responsibility. Not your cost. All of that's great. No need to worry about falling home values. So as we see, the prices go up and down. You don't have to worry about it. You worry about what your rent is in that year, and you're not tied to a longer mortgage. And then no property taxes and all of that too. So guys, there's benefits to both. And we really hope that today we were able to share both sides so that you can really see what's going to be best for you. Again, we'll be the first person to tell you if we don't think it's the right move. But you don't know until you start to explore it. So that's what we're here for. We love to educate our clients. We love to educate our community, which is why we do what we do.
For sure.
What else would you have to say?
I found this really cool calculator too when we were researching this about buying or renting, and an actual calculator that you can kind of plug in. And I was playing around with it, and it's super cool. So if you guys want that, definitely comment below, send us a message. And again, everyone's situation is different, so these are a lot of overarching questions and ideas to ask yourself. But really with every question, there's an answer, and then there's a way that we can work around it, whether it's credit. We can give you ideas on how to boost your credit, debt to income, whatever it might be. We're here to help.
I love it. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in to Fridays with Friends. Again, Friday with Friends is our opportunity to talk about what's going on in the market, to answer any important questions that we might see coming up a lot, so that we would love the opportunity to be your realtor of choice whenever you or your family or friends have any real estate needs. So keep us in mind however we can help. It is never too early to start. There is no such thing as a crazy or stupid question, because we've been through it all, and we absolutely love what we do and love helping. So feel free to reach out to us.
Thanks, guys. Bye.